Okay, in this video we're going to talk quickly about multi-tenancy in OpenStack and how it carries over into SolidFire. So I'm going to start on the project tab of OpenStack here. You can see, just I guess for clarification, I think we'll have already talked about this a little bit, but projects used to be called tenants in OpenStack. They're renaming everything to projects, so this is a fairly modern OpenStack, so it says projects in here. What we're going to look at is, you can see I've got three projects here. One was just auto-generated with a big ugly name, but we'll look at admin because I've been using that a bunch with this OpenStack instance. So a key thing is that this project ID was created by OpenStack here, and it's assigned 7041C. And so what happens is that the SolidFire driver uses that to go create accounts on the SolidFire cluster. So if we go here to SolidFire cluster and we look at the accounts tab, you'll see that there are two accounts on here. This first one is actually it's an account that we use for internal configuration containment here within OpenStack, so an administrative account that's created automatically by the driver. And then this one here, which is created with the 7041C ID from OpenStack. It's prefixed with a cloud name if you have multiple clouds. We'll talk about that here a little bit more in a second. But the nice part is you can see in this column here we have a list of active volumes. It tells how many there are. You can see we have compression, deduplication, and provisioning, and overall efficiency ratings for each of these accounts. And the nice part with the active volumes column here is that I can click on that and I get a sorted, filtered list of those volumes that belong to this project or account, as we call it here in SolidFire. So you can very easily kind of get a filtered list. I have a bunch of volumes here, but if you had thousands of volumes for hundreds of users in the cloud, you can easily sort through those. From this tab, you can also see the quality of service metrics set up. You can see some of the volume details. Shows you, for instance, like where this volume is attached to. So that's the actual UUID of the VM running in OpenStack that's attached to. So pretty useful stuff there. The other nice thing about this, if we go back to the accounts tab and we go and we edit this, you'll see that there is an initiator secret and a target secret created for each account. This is the chap credentials for this account, and that's a randomly generated value from the OpenStack, the SolidFire driver in OpenStack. You don't have to do any of that. I notice I'm just showing things here in SolidFire. I'm not actually setting them up. So we'll cancel that modification, and now I'm going to go back to OpenStack and I'm going to create a new project just to show you how this actually all plays out. So we'll create the demo project, and we'll go create a user as demo, or I could create the user as myself here in the demo project to log in, because users log in as a user and then they have access to different projects in OpenStack. So we'll give this guy the highly secret password of demo, and we will assign him to the demo project. So we'll create that user, and once it's created, we'll log out as admin. And I'm going to log back into OpenStack as the demo user, and we can go here and create a volume for him. When that account's created, I'll go back over here and refresh this. You'll see that the account hasn't been created on SolidFire yet, but the first time we go create a volume here in OpenStack for this user. So again, I'm logged in as demo now. We're going to create this demo volume. We'll just make it a standard size of 1 gig. And so there it's created. And now if we go back over to SolidFire, you'll see that it created that account automatically with a different ID. We could go back to the OpenStack tab and verify that, but I trust that it's there. And you can see that I've got one volume for that account. And if we look at this, it's got a different chap secret for that account. So one last quick bit here. For each account, you can actually click on the performance tab, and it'll bring up a window here that shows you the performance that this account is using, or this project in OpenStack. So this is another way to kind of drill in and look at per project and per tenant and multi-tenancy type of things, and you can see there's not much going on with these volumes here at this account, but you can see that it's there, and you can drill into that stuff per account. One other thing I think is important for this demo is to kind of show a little bit here that you can use these accounts to separate other things out. So you'll notice I talked on that one SolidFire there. I'm now on another SolidFire cluster that I actually have a number of OpenStack instances talking to the same SolidFire cluster. So you can see a lot of these with my last name and then the OpenStack release here. And again, this is that OpenStack vTemplate account. It's an administrative account that's created for each one of these. That's created when the OpenStack starts up. And so you can see I've got a Mataka version, a Juno version, a Master, a Kilo, a couple of Liberties. And you can see some of these actually have volumes. Some of them don't have volumes provisioned for those today. So for instance, this one up here, this is Fuel 8 MERS, actually has a couple volumes on an account and one volume in the vTemplate. You'll also notice that I've done a couple other things here, and I've got a Mesos cluster that's also using this SolidFire cluster, and I've got a CoreOS Docker instance set up and running. So you'll see here I've just jumped into this Mesos cluster. They're all prefixed, so we support this in most of the drivers that we do, so that we can name the volumes with the prefix, and then you'll get the name that was given to Mesos. And of course they have a separate account, so you can again filter these things. You'll see up here in the filter I'm filtering right now by the Mesos cluster. As a quick bonus, let's go over and let me grab a window here. This is logged into my container cluster. This is my Mesos cluster. So if we do docker volume ls, we can see there's our test volume that we saw over here at this test 4, and docker volume inspect test 4. You can see a bit more detail about this volume. You can see that it's Mesos cluster 1 test 4. It's where it's mounted. Then that will be passed into the Docker container. So we give it the -v. We say test 4. We say mnt test 4, which is where we want it mounted in the container. I'm going to run a bash shell in that container. There we go. It's going to actually fire up the container. If I do a df in the container, we can see it's mounted here as test 4. And here, and we look at it, we can actually see it's mounted on the host that this is running on. So you can see the details right there. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and that gives you a good idea how we can use different accounts to separate things out. You'll notice the Mesos cluster only saw his test 4 volume when we did a docker volume ls. So that's a good way to use accounts. OpenStack does that automatically for you.